How's it going, ScrubGamers? Welcome back to another video here at ScrubGames, and today we have another video. But before we get into that, I do want to say a few shouts. First of all, to DBS Deck Planet for being the best and only deck builder in the game with a fantastic amount of features like importing your list to untap if you want to test out before you invest, and be able to print off the list instead of writing out easily before an event. Also, they are a deck builder that is built by the players for the players with a dedicated team behind them. And also, as well as that, I do want to shout out Duke's Gaming for sponsoring the webcam locals, being a great place to go, especially if you're from the UK at least, to pick up all your sold product for or even TCG needs. So if you have any TCG needs are in the UK, feel free to check them out in the description below. And lastly, feel free to like the video if you do enjoy it, comment down below any of your thoughts about the video, and even subscribe to the video. It keeps you updated with my videos as when they drop, and even if you click the notification bell, you can get alerts to when they do drop as well, and help me get to my goal of 1,000 subs. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Right, let's have a look and check out Yellow Bardock's crew. So as always, we will start off with the leader, and with Yellow, this is the side that has the Z leader as shown here with Bardock's say and determination. So this is another nice thing. You got Bardock's crew. It's not just Bardock on the front side, it's Bardock's crew. Even the character is Bardock's crew, and along with the special trait. And then you flip over and you now become Bardock Inherited Will, which is basically his crew's gone. He's on his own, but he's got the will of the crew within him. And then you got the Z leader going on to do that last little strike against Imagine Freezer. So starting off with the front side, its auto is once per turn. If it's your turn, when you play a Bardock's crew card, draw one card. So that's plain and simple. Place a Bardock's crew, draw cards. If you have a cantrip, you get a draw 2. Play something, draw a card from that, draw a card from this. So you can probably rack up quite a bit of draw. And the Awaken is when your life is 4 or less, or there are 4 or more Bardock's crew cards with different card names in 4 different areas: energy, Z energy, battle, and drop. You may draw one card, switch up to one of your energy to active mode, and add cards from your life to your hand until you have, add cards from your life to your hand to your 6 cards left. Now, and then you flip over. Now that might read different to how it actually reads on the card, because Bandai did issue an errata because they forgot how to do English properly with the changing up and put life where hand was and hand where life was. So it's not meant to be add cards from your hand to your life and to your 6 life left, because that doesn't read right. It's life to hand. So like most of the rest of the cards have the similar awakening when you go down to 6. And then you're flipped over to Bardock Inherited Will. Now there's a slight upgrade to the auto, so same similar auto, but it's not just during your turn, it's during your player's turn. When you play a Bardock's crew card, draw one card, which means during your turn when you play one, you get a draw, and if you play one during your opponent's turn, you get a draw them. So that's quite nice. And it also now has a Never auto, and this one is when this card attacks, use up to one Yellow Bardock's crew card with 5k combo power from your drop in a combo with the skills to get for the turn. So that allows you to rack up your C energy, and you'll need it if you want to go to your Z leader too. And now also gains an activate main, which is once per turn. Choose one of your Bardock's crew cards in your battle area and switch to rest mode as the cost. And then once you do that, if you pay the cost, you get to choose one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and KO it. So you've got a nice bit of removal in the leader. And then if you go into your Z leader, that requires you to pay 1, have your life at 3 or less, and send 3 cards from your Z energy to your drop to pop this on top of an awakened Bardock leader. And it's not just any yellow Bardock leader that's awakened, and we got a few of those. I think we got like 3 or 4 maybe. I know we've probably got 3 at least, if I remember correctly. And so it's not just restricted to this, it supports some old stuff. And it now gives you 20k double strike, so your 20k base now is 15k, so it's easier to defend and hits a little bit harder. And you have a double strike skill on your lead, so you can start pressuring 2 damage to be quite a bit of a threat. And now your auto is now changed to get draw, which is now, instead of playing card, it's once per turn when you use a Bardock's crew card in a combo, you draw 1. So now instead of having to play something that's Bardock's crew to draw, you now just combo with one. That could be on the attack, and it's used either way. You can now just combo out of your opponent's attacks to gain a draw, and also same with on being aggressive. Your activate main now has a slight increase and a slight boost, where it's got the same cost, where you need to choose one of your Bardock's crew cards with entry cost, or we'll switch to rest mode as the cost. But now you get to choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode. You also now get to negate their skills for the turn and to KO them. So now you get the double up on how many you can KO, and now you negate your skills before KOing them. So if they've got any skills that trigger when they leave the board, then they don't trigger. And now you also got an added activate battle for your turn, where once per turn, if it's your turn, for each Bardock's crew card with different character name in your Z energy, this card gains 3k power for the battle, and that can get you up to 15k because there are only 5 members of the Bardock's crew, being Bardock and his crew is 4 members, so 15 is as much you can get. So that essentially gives the lead its own little 15k double strike boost without costing energy when you Z awaken. Well, the 1 energy when you Z awaken. So that's quite interesting. It's not too bad, but will the Archlight be good? Because we've had the same thing like before. So we'll start off with Bardock, the leader of the crew. Now I have added in an old card as well with this because I thought it'd be nice to see. It is a really nice one where it's from the original draft box. It's called Bardock, Father and Son, where with an active main and being 15k 2 costs as well, where if your leader is yellow and your opponent has 3 or more energy and a Bardock's father and son isn't in play in your battle area, you get to choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards which is rest mode, and if you do switch the card to rest mode, you get to play this card from your hand, giving yourself a nice 15k attacker and be able to play something via Bardock's crew for free on your board to draw to get that draw on either side of your leader and still have your energy free. But if you don't want to do that, you also have your Bardock's crew leader. Now these cards, these 1-drops in the deck that come with the set, they all have the same permanent where if your leader is a Bardock's crew card, and there are 4 or more Bardock's crew cards with different card names in 4 different zones, being energy, Z energy, battle area, and drop, the card goes up, gets 6k power, making them 10ks. So I'm not going to repeat that on the rest of them because it is exactly the same permanent. But they do have they do have different autos. That's the one. This card, when this card is played, look at the top 5 cards of your deck. Choose up to 1 yellow Bardock's crew card with energy cost of 4 or less, or a yellow unison with a specified cost of 2 among them to your hand. Then shuffle your deck. So this is a nice little 1-drop search here, and in combination with your lead, gets you a search and a draw. And now we also have the Bardock Inherited Might, which is a big boss card for this. And it might seem, with the skills on it, that it's a very good defensive card, but it's more of an offensive powerhouse, really. You can mainly use this for offense rather than defense. And I say that because it's an 8-drop 25k. It has Deflect, Block, or Revenge, so all those 3 skills together make it a very good defensive card. But without Barrier to make it less easy to remove, it's not going to be as great as a blocker as a defender because you can easily pop it. Unless it's got barrier, it's normally going to be an easy target for any skill. But being 8-drop deflect means it's unaffected and out the way of the 3 counter plays that we had for unisons back in Unison Warrior set 10. And this has 3 skills as an auto: an activate main and an activate battle. Now the activate main is how you play it for cheap because no one wants to pay 8 energy for a card unless it's going to win you the game guaranteed. And this one is for 3 energy if there are 4 or more Bardock's crew cards with different character names in your energy, Z energy, battle area, and or drop. You play this from your hand. Now when you do that, you get the trigger this auto, which is when this card is played from your hand, you place up to 4 non-Bardock's crew cards with different character names from your drop under this card, and you can't play battle cards for the turn. So that's a good thing to point out for this, is if you plan to play a load of things in that turn that you drop this, you play this last, because otherwise you're locked out if you play this first. And also, do note that unlike the everyone's saying different areas, for it auto to put underneath it, you need to have a Fascia, Tora, Borgos, and Shigesh in your drop area to put underneath it, not from your energy only, everywhere else it's got to be in your drop area. And then lastly, he's got a very strong activate battle, which allows you to be a defensive powerhouse, which gives you 4 30k attacks and a 25k attack. And that's because if your leader is a Bardock's crew card, your opponent has 3 or more energy, and you use 1 card from under this card in the combo, you switch this card to active mode. Now you might be thinking, if you get the attack, it can't restand because it's activate battle, but you can always attack with something else, and then trigger the active battle to restand it. And also the comboing card isn't giving power to itself, it's just a combo card from underneath it, which can be used on any attack, which is very nice. So that is the Bardock's crew cards, and now we have his great form. So that was his basic form, now is his great form. He has only 1 card that's his great form in the set, but he also has like quite a few, well, a fair few 8 versions of himself in the game, and the one that comes in the set is Bardock's crew. Is a Great Bardock, same potential. This has Deflect. It's a 20k 4 drop and also has two skills, an auto which costs 1 yellow and an activate main which is limit 1 and costs 1 yellow. Now the activate main is how you play it for cheap, because if your leader is a Bardock's crew card and there are 4 more Bardock's crew cards with different card names in your energy. Z energy, battle area and or drops, this is a recurring theme here. You get to play this card from your hand, draw a card, then bottom deck a card from your hand. So now the bottom deck card might be seem a bit too much, that you didn't replace stuff in hand, but it does allow you to place a Never Ape from your hand to the bottom of your deck, so that way for the first effect, the auto, where you pay 1 yellow, if you have 3 or more yellow energy, when this card is played you get to play up to 2 yellow Great Bardock's crew cards with different character names and energy cost of 3 from your deck with the skills to get for the turn, then shuffle your deck. So it allows you to put back the Elevate Main's resolution allows you to put back an ape to the bottom of your deck, so you can play it out from this, so it's not too bad, so you're not really losing anything because you're playing it. Well, technically you are losing, like, not gaining anything, but then you're also guaranteed to have something in your deck, which is nice. And then Bardock also does have some old cards that are quite good. So we've got the Bardock the Eliminator, which is a nice card that decks use for like draw power from the drop, because the activate main is pay 1. Instead of when you drop to your warp, draw 1, and you can always combo this off as well, especially when you leader's wing, so I get the draw from that and then use it from the drop in your next turn. And also it's a blocker that also has a auto skill you can use, which is limit 1 for 1 energy if your leader is a yellow or a Bardock's crew card, and you choose one of your opponent's skillless battle cards, which has an energy cost of 4 or less in rest mode. At the end of a battle, when this card was used in the combo from your hand, your opponent may KO the chosen card, but if they don't, you get to play this from your hand in rest mode. So you got to remember that yellow has some interesting cards that can like neg skills and cards, like Final Flash for example, so you can always neg something to make sure you have a target for this. But it's just an option if you want. You don't have to if you don't want to. And you also have Great Bardock Raiders Warcry. Now this is a nice one you can probably use for the deck, where you do have to pay 2 to combo and to play for 10k, but still this is shown to be great because it's kind of fallen off in as of late for yellow decks because 2 energy is a bit expensive, but you can get probably a bit of good use out of the Bardock in this, because you can is it one of those common to play cards where if your leader is yellow, at the end of a battle which you combo with this card, you play it from your hand, and when you do play it, you get to draw 1 card and choose one of your opponent's battle cards, which is the rest mode. So with the leader being the draw when you play a Bardock's crew, you can essentially draw 2 off this from leader and from its own effect. And it's a 20k double striker, which is a nice bit of pressure. Then we go on to the other members of the crew, so Bardock's other followers. We got Tora, Borgos, and Shigesh, all feelings bequeathed, and they all have the same permanent as we said before, and they all have a interesting auto. So Tora and Borgos are the counter skill cards, whereas Sugesh is just a cantrip because his auto is just when it plays draw a card. But Tora is the counter attack where you negate your attack, play this card, and then has an auto where if your leader is yellow, Bardock's crew card, and you discard 1 card from your hand. When this card is played, your opponent can't attack your non-leader cards for the turn unless they choose 1 card in the hand, 1 card that's on the board in active mode, and switch to rest mode each time. So that basically means that is not that bad, because if you build up a wide board against someone and they want to try and like clear it by attacking into it, you can use this as a way to say, like, if there's a cost if you want to attack my board, so attack my leader instead, and that's not too bad. And also there's another card that's coming up soon where it forces your opponent into a kind of way they have to attack and then lose their cards, which is quite nice. And Borgos is a nice little counterplay where it's just play this card, and that might seem bad, but then it's just counterplay because his auto is where the skill is, where when this card is played, choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards with entry cost of 7 or less, switch to rest mode. So this can be used on your turn or your opponent's turn with the counterplay skill, and being a 1-drop, it can be used outside the deck as well quite nicely. So that is the members of his crew, and we go on to the 8 forms because all Bardock's crew have an 8 form. Now we have Great Tora, Great Borgos, and Great Sugesh, all same potential. They're, well, 2 of them are 20k, and Tora is the 15k, and they all have a permanent. They all have the same auto as well. Well, it's the second auto on Tora, but the first one on the other 2, where once per turn, if it's your turn, when this card is switched to rest mode by one of your skills, you switch to active mode, which it ties in with the leader's effect to rest a card and KO your opponent's card. This allows you to rest these and then be reactive, so you can actually use them again to attack. And Tora is like a deadly defender in a sense, where it's a unique blocker, and its permanent is while disguised from rest mode, your opponent can't attack your leader card with battle cards. So it's a nice one they combo with his 1-cost battle card to make it so your opponent can't attack your leader with the battle cards, so they force attack your apes, and then or attack this, and they have to keep resting cards to keep going. So it gives you like an extra mecha. And his auto is everyone. Is limit 1 for 1 energy if your leader is a Bardock's crew card and the back is facing up. At the end of a battle where this card was used in the combo from your hand, play this card from your play this card basically play this card from your drop. So it comes in active mode, so you can use blocker, and then its permanent is live after that, so you can start preventing quite a few attacks with this, which is quite nice. Now Borgos and Sugesh, they have quite similar effects. They both have a permanent where if you're at 3 or more energy they gain a skill. Borgos gains dual attack and Sugesh gains double strike. And as well as that, they both have an activate main to play them in for cheap, which is both limit 1 if your leader is a Yellow Bardock's crew card, and there are 4 more Bardock's crew cards with different card names in your energy ZNG battle area and drop. You get to play this card from your hand, and then you get to do different effects depending. So Borgos is play this card from your hand and choose it to one of your opponent's battle cards and switch to rest mode, whereas Sugesh is play this card from your hand and choose one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode and KO it. So one gets the rest and one gets the KO so you can rest, which is quite nice, so they combo quite well together. And then we have the female members of the crew. So we have Fascia, Feelings Bequeath, her 1-drop, and her 8 being Grape Fascia, basically being a 3-cost 30k skillless card. Like most decks have a skillless card now. And we have Gine as the unison being Gine the sake of family. So Fascia has the same permanent as the rest of the 1-drops, but it also does have a search effect just similar to Bardock, but it's an active event that allows you to discard it from hand, so you don't have to play it. So you can do both Bardock and Fascia like any turn as long as you've got like both copies to search twice, which is quite nice. So this one is if your leader is a Yellow Bardock's crew card and you discard this card from your hand, look at up to 5 cards from the top of your deck, and up to 1 Yellow Bardock's crew card with an entry cost of 4 or less, or 1 unison with a specified cost of 4 among them to your hand, then shuffle your deck. And this is a nice way to be able to get at least Fascia for the big 8 drop in your drop, but just discard this to search, which is very helpful to awaken as soon as possible. And then Gine for the sake of family. She is a 2 specified cost yellow unison with 15k power, and an auto which is when this card is played, play up to 1 mono Yellow Bardock's crew card with an entry cost of 1 from your hand and switch to rest mode. And that's relevant because its +1 is an auto, which if it's your turn, when a battle card is switched to rest mode by one of your skills, including itself, you draw 1. So you can instantly, when you play this, take up to 3 markers and gain a card. And if you play a cantrip like Sugesh, then you get to draw another. And it also has that -3 which activate main, play up to 1 Yellow Bardock card with entry cost of 4 or less from your hand, and there's a few copies of that depending on how strong you think it is. I don't think it's worth it for the -3, the +1 is where it's useful really. And then we have the deck's extra cards. So it's got 2 of them. It's got Gone But Not Forgotten and A Saint's Willpower. So we'll go for Gone But Not Forgotten. This has a permanent to reduce the cost, which is if you have 4 more non-Bardock's crew cards with different character names in your energy. So this one is just energy, not like the rest we have in different areas. It's just energy, so it's a turn 4 card to reduce. Well, you have to turn 4 to reduce the cost, but it just reduces the cost by 1. But it does have an activate battle skill, which is limit 1, where you choose one of these 2 effects. But if your leader is a Bardock's card, you get to choose both. And the effects are either your leader gets 15k power for the battle, or your leader gains double strike for the battle. Now that's quite nice, but the Z leader has that built in, really, to do. Like it's got double strike built onto itself, and can gain 15k for free when you get 5 Z energy with different characters. So this is kind of like irrelevant when you got a Z leader which does the same thing and comes in for the same cost of 1 energy on top of your leader as well. So I'm not sure how strong that's going to actually be, but it's like most archetypes are getting this kind of champion-esque effect, like this one is for the lead. And then we have A Saint's Willpower. This is a counter attack, 1 cost, negate the attack, and additionally if the attacking card is a Freezer Clan card, you place 1 of your battle cards in your opponent's drop area. Then if you do, draw 1 card. So you're stacking off 1 of your cards to draw a card if the attacking card is Freezer Clan. Not a great card, but at least it still just negates the attack. And then we have some other support from older things from the for Bardock, and a Z battle card as well that yellow gets, because as you remember in the set each colour gets, well apart from black, gets three Z cards, and then there's one in the starter deck. And then for yellow, the starter deck one is a leader for the starter deck, and then in yellow you get one for the leader, which is for the Bardock, and then two ever ones. We've seen one ever with the Piccolo deck. That's more for that, but it can still be used for any yellow deck. Just gets its full benefit from the Piccolo. And then we have for the old sport, we have an old BARDOCK'S Red as Rawkai, which is a never searcher where when you play this card, look at the top 7 cards of your deck, add it to one BARDOCK'S crew card, among them to your hand and shuffle your deck. So that allows you to look at 7 cards from the top of your deck and add any BARDOCK'S crew card, and it doesn't matter about colour either, which is quite nice. And is a BARDOCK'S card, so that could be useful. And we got BARDOCK'S Surge of Inspiration, which is a counter attack. We get knit card and play this card, but it's a BARDOCK'S crew, so on your Waken lead, you can use this to negate attack, play it, and then draw a card from your leader's effect. That's quite nice. And then the yellow Ever Z card we get is SSB Son Goku Evolved Defender. This has 2 skills that shouldn't be on any card together, which is Deflect and Barrier. And the cost of it is 3 specified yellow, plus sending 2 cards from your Z energy to your drop, and 25k power as well. It's also got 2 strong effects. The first one being similar to something Sin Shenron has, which is when this card is played, choose up to one of your opponent's leader, unison, or battle cards in rest mode, and it can't attack until the end of your opponent's next turn. So a very strong deck for any yellow deck to use. And also, as well as that, we have a second auto where if this card is in rest mode, as the requirement, when your opponent plays a card, you may place one of your Z energy in his owner's drop area, and if you do, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards or unisons, switch to rest mode, and negate the skill for the turn. So that's a really annoying effect that you're just going to have access to in any yellow deck, and it's probably going to be just as annoying coupled with the things yellow Trunks can do with Pooty and the other Trunks on board. And then we have some strong yellow cards. So first off, we have Mecha Frieza, Robotic Proposed. This is the Floodgate counterplay, where it just reduces the cost by up to 2. Well, you can reduce the cost by 1 for each yellow extra card in your drop. It's a counter attack where you just negate attack player's card, and then the Floodgate is an auto where when it's played, your opponent can't attack unless with non-unison cards unless they choose one of their cards and opponent and rest it each time. So that makes your opponent tap down more things, needs to tap down cards if they want to keep attacking. Then we have Vegeta Unisphere being a very good unison, and especially if you're scared of the new 8-drop Gogeta GT coming out in the next set of that deck, this is a never card that yellow gets at least to kind of hold it off with its -1 where you activate main. Your opponent can't attack with battle cards with energy cost greater than energy until the end of the turn, because they're not going to wait until turn 8 to drop it. So that could be a useful card, and you can either use it as a finisher and gain a few markers by resting your own stuff. And then we have and also that works really well with the some of your BARDOCK'S crew, where you can rest them and restand them using this effect as well. Then we have Bergamo, Ferocious Roar, a really nice yellow card where when one of your opponent's cards is rested, you can pay 2 to play this card, and when it is played, you get to tap down 2 of your opponent's battle cards or energy ignoring barrier, as long as your leader is a yellow or Universe 9. So this is a very card, and it's limited for a reason because it is just that strong. Then we have some strong yellow extra cards to go with it as well. So Powder Soup's Head, similar to Bardock, ScrubGamers, is a card so good that Bandai had to limit it, and it's just really nice to be able to for free as long as you've got active mono yellow energy. Use the activate battle for free by drawing 1 and resting one of your opponent's battle cards to unison cards. Very good card, or be able to use this as a negate attack. And you also have Vegeta's Final Flash, because yellow doesn't have much in terms of barrier removal, but it does have barrier ignorance, being Vegeta's Final Flash, where you can just ignore ignore the skills on a battle card your opponent has by ignoring barrier as well, and give to your leader a battle card a plus 15k power for that attack. And then lastly we have the Frieza's Army Reinforcements, which is a token negate for the deck for the color, and just like with blue, it has the token negate that doesn't actually have common power on its blockers. So if the blocker survives or you don't use it to block another attack, it's just a 10k attacker and can't be used for combo power. That's the only downside of it, but it's still a blocker negate, so it can stop potentially 2 attacks with this card. And then we have some secret rare options for the deck. So you've got Piccolo and Gohan, Newfound Might, that you have as very strong, well, probably the best yellow secret rare game at the moment. And this is a really nice one to have, because if you can make, as I keep saying, if you can make Basil basically trigger its activate main to be a 90k dual attacker very easily. You can also make this a free super combo that is 30k combo power very easily. So this is still a good shot. And in the set you do get a yellow super secret rare, that's the right word for this, that you can use with it, and that is Bardock Original Legend. This is a really nice one. It just comes down for free, being able to rest one of your opponent's cards out the range of your the free counter plays, having Deflect to be an 8-drop, and also having Double Strike and Dual Attack to put some pressure on. And also, if you can't kill your opponent, it gives you some removal in its second activate main, but also making it so your opponent can only attack with one battle card during the next turn. Only one time with a battle card next turn. And then if you want to go with what Yellow has played quite a lot in the past before we got Piccolo and Son Gohan, and that is Kai, which the Supreme Card Time Space Time Unraveler. This is a nice one because Yellow doesn't have the easiest time dealing with and clearing unisons and wide boards, but that's where Kai comes in, being able to drop it down, stop your opponent from attacking with leader and unisons if you play it defensively, and be able to essentially for 2 energy come down, be able to swing if you want to, and then wipe your opponent's board of unisons battle cards, not ignoring barrier though. So there's just some great secret rare options you can try with the deck. And that will bring us to the end of this breakdown for the Bardock's crew deck. It doesn't seem that impressive. Like, the leader seems quite interesting, but the crew, the archetype itself, once again just feels like it falls flat, where it's just not as great or better in another deck, and just how it feels at the moment. So it doesn't seem the greatest, but let me know down below what you think of this deck. Like, do you think it's going to be great? Do you think it's going to be alright? Do you think it's going to be bad? Because I'd like to know, because so far my view on it just doesn't seem that great. But that has been it all for me. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and join me for the next one and the last one we have, which is for Black, which is Salsa. Bye for now.